Sound check. Am I coming clear? Coming in clear. I'm gonna guess that's a yes. Hello Jan, hi. Thank you. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Happy 2023 to you. I hope you got the well needed for all of us rest in this family week that everyone got. Almost everyone. Things are pretty calm here in Serbia. I hope, by the way, I'm not my video is not freezing or something like this. What a fun year that. Not really, but so much happened and so many changes were made for some people. A lot of stuff happened for Russia, and many people were thinking that that so many things were going to go badly for Russia quickly, or possibly just hoping they would. What I'm talking about is the economical and mostly economical things, and apparently things did not go as badly as everyone hoped they would, and the result is Russia is doing fairly well economically, fairly well. This is possibly due to many things. The sanctions, for example, are not really working, it seems. Possibly because most of these sanctions were just almost exactly the same as the previous ones, and unfortunately for most of Europe, the Russian arm is okay. I see I'm losing connection, unfortunately. The internet is not as good as I hoped it would be the first time I moved in here. My previous place was much better. It had like an amazing internet connection. I was just shocked. Not here. I understand the reason, but the hosts are not really into changing anything. Anyway, the whole situation is in Russian economical field is quite shockingly good. It was shocking for me. For example, I read just a couple of news flashes and interviews with rather people, economists of rather opposing opinions to the agenda of propaganda, for example, and it makes me feel just, I don't know, just like it's funny, because I feel like whole Russia is being so badly um, controlled and manipulated by the government itself. So many mistakes are being done, and so many mistakes. Barely any respect for anything, it seems. And the results are quite good. And this thing that first of all, everyone is buying. Well, not everyone, but many countries are buying, as they are trying to stop it, but they can't really, not as quickly as they hoped it for it to happen. The buying of oil and gas, and on the other hand, we have almost non-existent import into Russia. Therefore, it's getting all this money, and by the way, quite a lot of it, because of the winter time, and as well as the first push of going green for Europe has not really failed, but quite a lot of pushback happened, as far as I know. And you can't really change this thing as like in a month or half a year or so. Even a year is not enough. And most didn't have the time, at least even in part, to go green. Therefore, now they have to buy all this stuff, all the oil and gas, and the prices, of course, have changed, because they are not complete idiots in the government, and of course, as well as the fact that they are friends of Putin, they quickly change up the market and rack up the prices, and everyone is still buying, so why the hell not? So that's a lot of money going into Russia, and not a lot of money going out, apart from buying the weaponry and stuff. Just the tiny amounts of vegetables and other technological components. By the way, so many of those are bought from China, so, and it's it's pretty damn close to Russia. So yeah, on one hand, things are not looking as bad for Russia as everyone hoped. On the other hand, not so many things are going great for Russian citizens. For example, in Russia we have this site of the info. It's collecting all the information about people being prosecuted for multiple reasons and cases, and they present data that in Russia in 2022 over 20,000 Russian citizens were detained for political reasons. Over 20,000 people. And the next thing that I think that everyone is already on board with is the fact that Russia has this military company of recruiting the not the conscripts, the people from jail that have committed serious murders and stuff, and the amounts of people that are being recruited or conscripted, or I don't know, is it's well over thousands of people. And they, of course, give these people weapons and stuff. Well, it's very similar to what has happened in the Second World War, and pretty sure the first one as well. But it was massive in the Second World War, and it was called the Straf Battalion in Russian. So of the same story, but of course the numbers were quite a lot more inflated as they are right now. But this is the first year, even not a whole year has passed since the beginning of the war, so we will have much more interesting and sad numbers as the days go by. And also as well the sad story of sad numbers of the death toll, which is still very slim by the official reports of Russian Federation, and well, it's shockingly high by the numbers, for example, of the British government. If I'm not mistaken, up to 80,000 people they report to have died already. And by the way, the numbers of people that have left the Russian Federation in 2023 is something about 600 to 800,000 people have left Russia, and of course these are most of them are young people that of course conscriptable age, and working people, well, very capable ones, of course. So this is the number thing that happened, right, in Russia within the last year, as well as all the companies that have left Russia. They have left their stuff for grabs, as if I will say that. I mean, the assets and other property and shares. For example, some of the stuff as the Renault car factory became property of the city in Moscow. Renault's share in AvtoVAZ, the Russian company that is, well, the biggest in producing Russian vehicles, pretty horrible ones, by the way, has been bought by the Central Research Automobile and Automotive Institute, NAMI. Well, it's something of a shadow company can't really hear about it that much, but it's fairly big. I'm not into big businesses of Russia, but I've heard just a tiny amount about it. The assets of American oil company Shell were acquired by Lukoil, and I will tell a short story about Lukoil in a bit. And IKEA is selling its assets, and I'm pretty sure the AFK Sistema holding already bought it, or it was interested in buying it like 2 months ago. So yeah, the stuff that has been left is being just taken by these big fish of Russian business, sharks as we might call them. And the thing is about Lukoil, for example, I have been reading a bit of news about them. So in the last year, about 4 or 5 of the Russian, it's in Russian. I'll change the language 1 second. Okay, this doesn't want to work. Anyway, the head of the council, the directors, board of the directors of Lukoil has fallen out of the window of a hospital, and previously, yes, and the people have the information that is presented that apparently by RIA News, one of the biggest in Russia, if not the biggest, says it's probably because he has killed himself. Of course, nobody is going to really look into that case. And as well as another person, another top manager of Lukoil has died. And I had another one over here. That's Gazprom. That's a bit of a different company, but still about the same stuff. They know each other pretty well. Small family, that is. So I have seen also a couple of more of those stories, and what this shows is that once all these assets and all the goodies left for grabs for Russians, they start fighting among themselves. It's not like it didn't happen before. Of course it did, but it intensified significantly in the last year. Just random acts of deaths and suicides of these very status people. Apparently the Georgian economy has gotten a big boost from all the Russian people moving to and investing in the country. Yeah, that's definitely happening. I've heard that about, I think, 150,000 to 200,000 people have moved to Georgia. That's a lot of people. too much possibly for Georgia to. It's like almost it's as Moscow there, the head per square meter, I mean. Kazakhstan is also very happy to have all these Russians coming over, especially doctors and other professionals. Yeah, and all the other countries as well, as there's apparently some shortened process of getting a citizenship and making a what's it called? Well, making a company in Serbia. They have made the proper laws and stuff to shorten and make everything as comfortable as it could be. And well, yeah, it's very helpful. So many money are coming out, as well as so many people that have left IT professionals, and some of them are working for international companies. Even if not, the amount of money they are getting is disproportionate to the general pay of a Russian citizen. It's at least 10 times higher, maybe even 50 times higher than most. And this is not as great. And for example, Russia is already trying to not just verbally abuse all these people that are leaving, which they are doing and have been doing for a couple of months now, calling them traitors, and that we should take all the bank accounts and block them, and all the other talks. Most of them are just talks, but some of them are not, because one of the ways, as far as I know, Russia works its way with people. They are trying to test the ground by throwing some ridiculous concepts at people and seeing whether they would bounce. And they get. Putin presents a sort of distant, non-interested approach to internet, as it seems at first. If you at least compare him to Trump, for example, that uses Twitter all the time, and he has gotten back to it, which is awesome because of Elon Musk. I think that's just dumb to block him. Anyway, Putin, on the contrast, does not use any of that ever, and he's like an old man that fears the ring of his new smartphone and wants that split system. Apparently, but he gets a lot of people that work for him to get as much information and what's it called, the results and researches, and present him with the salt of it all. And it works fine for him, even though most of the young people don't really think anything good about him, on the contrast to Trump, for example. I see your question, Zoya. Yeah, the answer is most of my friends. It's not like there's like a lot of them, um, due to many reasons, and they have stayed in Russia. Most of them. I have made some new friends since I've left, and they are still in Kazakhstan, for example, and I contact them like once a week or twice a week and exchange some opinions of, for example, one of those things that Russia is currently trying to, not trying, they have made a law that companies that are registered, like, what's it called? The proper term I don't exactly know, that when there's an official company that is tiny, well, and in Russia it is called IP. I'll try to translate it. 1 second. Индивидуальный предприниматель. Let me check. It's called individual entrepreneur. And I'm not exactly sure that, for example, American system has this thing. But what it does is that you pay taxes, and if you have this individual entrepreneur thing, instead of having a company, you register it to your name, not a company. The thing in IP, you register it to your name, and it has your name in it. For example, I don't know, IP Ivan Ivanovich, and this has some simpler things in ways of documents, and it's kind of like sole proprietorship. Yep, kind of like this. Is it a thing in US? So what has happened, that if I'm not mistaken, that Russia has raised the tax from 5% to 30% for these types of businesses, and now not for all of them, but for those that have left Russian Federation, self-employed. No, not exactly self-employed. There's like a different thing. Self-employed is another one, and I'm pretty sure that right now they are trying to attack this concept of self-employed as well, trying to raise the taxes for those. And while all the systems that have been built in Russia in the last 5 or 10 years, they are trying to unite them. I mean, as you might have heard in one of my videos, that Russia is trying to unite all these the police systems, the border service systems, and all the other stuff, as well as medical and institutions. And they have done that, not officially, but it's working now since my video. Back then they were just starting to do it. Now it's pretty in pretty working condition. And using all these systems, now they can understand the position of a person that's doing business. Therefore, they can make him try to make him pay more taxes. And well, I'm not sure how this will turn out. Of course, the system doesn't exactly work perfectly, but nothing really works perfectly in Russia. But I guess we'll see, and there are so many people that are still thinking about leaving, but I'm pretty sure that most of them have already left. And unfortunately, I still believe that Russia very well might close the borders in the next mobilization stage. That definitely will happen in my book. Of course, they are the thing that they're doing, that they're reading chat and all the other stuff, and they understand that everyone is expecting them to do this, and they have this thing that they do, that once they see that everyone is expecting them to do something, they will not do this as long as they can, and then they will do it, of course, but they will say that it didn't really matter because it was their idea all along. So yeah, unfortunately, things will keep moving on as they are. And one of my friends is still in Russia, and his father is a general in the Russian army, and he has been a general for like at least 15 years before all this, and he is a grown man now. So this friend is being invited by the what's it called, the conscription center, and he's just so gray, like pale with fear and panic. He has been he has served in the military, and he has gotten a degree as well, and he is an actor, right, of theater and movies. So in that document that he has gotten, where the rank and all the other stuff, it's written that he is it's written kind of funny, but I will not try to butcher it by trying to translate it. Anyway, it means that he is well, an actor and a musician and so on. So he went there just thinking that he's gonna like definitely be sent, and his attitude. Why, I see your question, why doesn't he leave? By the way, he is also part Ukrainian. His grandparents are from Ukraine, and most of the families from there. So you can, and the family is pretty big. It's like 5 boys, children. I mean, in the family, 5 boys, and of course, mom and dad, and the dad is a general and stuff. And you could imagine the whole family attitude towards serving in the military, of course. And also these are people that have very strong beliefs. He's not there. He mostly is in the military, his dad, because he believes that that is what men should do, and as well as that is what he wants to do and what he is good at. And by the way, he was making like barely any money most of the time, and like literally almost nothing. But some time has passed, and right now he is fairly well paid, gladly. But why doesn't he leave? Because okay. I hope I'm back. Did it? Okay. Sorry about that. So yeah, it's within.
Что?
Не уходи с телефоном.
Нормально все?
Yeah, I had to switch to mobile internet because it's going so badly, and it's just splashes of good and bad connection, absolutely random, no meaning of it. And anyway, so the internal conflict is very serious within him, and he is being sent to, invited to the conscription center. And so he's just, and that happened like very soon after I've left. It's like I was talking to him before that about leaving, and a bit of time passes, like a couple of hours, and a knock on the door, and they give him the letter, and so he now has, so he thought at least, and he has in his eyes to go and do all this stuff that was necessary. So he went, and he was there for like 12 hours, and I'm not joking. 12 hours he was in that center, and most of the time he was just waiting. This whole thing was just a complete mess. And I hear that so many of these centers, they just have been completely overflooded by the people, the conscripts, and they did not know what to do. And he has been there just almost passing out, and he's this thin. He has an autoimmune disease, and so a cold weather or sleeping in a cold room could just seriously damage his health. And I'm almost I don't know, almost praying for him at the moment. And even though his father is for protecting the motherland, he thinks that this is the way people should act and do, but especially men. This guy, my friend, he was very understanding of the reason why I left. Quite supportive, by the way. And he feels like he doesn't have the courage to leave. That probably is not exactly the truth, but I mean, that's not number one reason why he couldn't leave. I'm pretty sure that he doesn't have the courage to go one step further in his quite tough relations with his father, to go against his will and not even ask his will, and make a choice that is quite serious, and leave his newly bought flat that he has been repairing, refurbishing for at least a year for that moment. And to leave to, well, exactly God knows where, for God knows how long. While his other younger brother is and was at the moment serving in the military, not on the front, luckily to him, because he's like 18 years old or something like this. Yeah, that the thing is that I thought there is no way he is by the law, there is like literally they will be so wrong if they would send him. But I've also heard stories, just like a couple of them, of people being sent with worse conditions. And now what happened was that like he was there for 12 hours, and at the end of the 12-hour period they just let him go. Not just, I'm pretty sure that there were a couple of things at play, and they probably did not want to send a man whose father is a general to this war unchecked, undouble checked. That's why they did that, and they double checked. They got all the medical reasons for him not to go, and they didn't send him. But a week later, he gets another letter. So he has this flat that it's an apartment, another region of Moscow, the so another part of it. And there's many of these centers scattered all over the city. So, and he is getting another letter from that one, and he's going there again, but to the other address. And he's waiting there for all the documents to get through, and the queue wasn't as long, and they double checked all the stuff again, and he got another pass because he has gotten a pass previously. So lucky to him, he did not get sent, but I'm pretty sure he lost like a year or so in these nerve-wracking situations of waiting, and the year of his lifetime, I mean. Anyway, if he wasn't, his father wasn't a general, things were completely different. Yeah. Different recruitment offices don't coordinate with one another, and people can be summoned by more than one. Yes, it happens, and sometimes people get conscripted just while overlapping. For example, in the first center, they get these. In the first office, they get called in. They get complete all the medical checks, and now they have to get some proof of their just medical other type of medical situation that they can't really check within the office. So he would go to get that one, and he would be taken by police officers from the street to go to an office, and possibly another one, and they will complete, like, pack this guy in shorter through a short process, shortened for the benefit of the office workers. So he will get sent to the front that way. And even some of the what's it called, forgot the correct term. Адвокат, как будет по-английски? Lawyer, okay, I think, yeah. So even the lawyers previously did not have to go to the front. They did not even need to serve. That what everyone was thinking, and well, that's quite logical, and the law was so. And after the war started, they have made some minor changes to the new laws that they have passed of this new state, the mobilization period of Russia that has never happened to Russia ever. I mean, that was a completely different country, the USSR, when it happened previously, even though not many things changed mentally, but many laws have been rewritten, and now lawyers will go to war like no problem. There have been stories of lawyers trying to fight the some result of the I'm completely forgetting words. What I mean is there have been a case, right? And then there has been prosecution, and the lawyers, what's it called? Sud, where a judge sits. You're getting my drift, right? Anyway, this process, it completes, it gives the result, right? And during the process, there were the process of trying to protect a person from being conscripted. The lawyer of this person is getting conscripted. Yeah, court, right? And during the court, like, I'm not exactly sure that in the courtroom, but in front of the courtroom, police officers taking the lawyer to be conscripted. It's just like, can you imagine? This is ridiculous. In front of the courtroom, a lawyer that is trying to protect a person from being conscripted is being conscripted. The next thing that they should do, I think, is conscript the guy that did not get the lawyer now because of this genius move. Okay, yeah. So in Russia, if you don't have a sense of humor, you will probably die or drink yourself to death. Okay, I will be ending the stream very soon. I talked quite a lot about the political stuff, and it really gets on my nerves. Yes, exactly. This is black comedy. Black comedy gold. Otherwise, things are fairly well. I'm going to get. I think I might be getting a courier job in Volt. You probably heard of that. It should be. It is almost everywhere in Europe. This online shop with couriers, and I probably will be going this way. We'll see what as the what's the pay and the work hours and all this stuff. But yeah, black comedy. Oh, you've tried the soup? Really? Oh, that's so cool. Okay, I'm really glad that that this recipe works. Did you use the numbers, the exact numbers that I've put, or just the overall video by just guessing what amounts I've put of all this stuff? I'm glad things have calmed down in Serbia. Thanks for another enjoyable stream. By the way, I really enjoyed the Borscht video. Kalinka at the end was a nice touch. Very fun. Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, I think that it fit just perfectly. Kalinka. Wow. It's such a classic music music track. So classically Russian. It's in Russia everyone thinks that to be ridiculous. Nobody ever listens to that. Like probably in 50 years or maybe even 70 years. The thing is that while I'm cooking, I'm not really using any measuring devices or the well, I'm not looking at the numbers as well. I'm not looking at the recipes. So if I do, I just skim through them just to get the general idea. And once I'm trying to recreate the numbers of what I've put into the thing, it's generally doesn't end very well. Just completely different, a completely different dish altogether. But if it works and it's delicious, I'm happy to hear that. Okay, thank you everybody. Thank you Jan, thank you Zoe, thank you David for commenting. I was happy to hear from you and talk to you. We'll be ending the stream soon. See you guys. Bye bye.